I am the CPO and Chief Company Expert at Chang'an Automotive. We're an OEM in China. We're the #3 brand in China of Chinese automotive branded vehicles. We have a team of maybe roughly 600 people, 2 million or so units of sales. If you include our partners, our JV partners, that becomes about 3 million. We have about 10 billion of US dollars purchases annually.
My name is Muhammad bin Muhammad Zain. I'm a CPO of Telekom Malaysia Berhad. Telekom Malaysia is actually the fixed line and the mobile operators in Malaysia, one of the biggest and oldest telecommunication company in Malaysia. So I'm taking care of the procurement for the whole group.
I would say it really is, it determines success and failure in our business. We're in a business that has been driven primarily by cost. We're trying to transition that to become more of collaboration, partnering with suppliers. The reason I say it will really make or break us or determine success or failure, suppliers really determine whether or not our first-time quality is where it should be, whether on-time deliveries will impact our factories, and really if they'll bring the best innovation so we can give that to our customers in the marketplace.
When we talk about suppliers, there are many types of suppliers. And not suppliers are partners. So some of them are actually retail suppliers, some of them are strategic in nature. So SRM provides a platform for us to differentiate treatment between suppliers and partners. Hence, just like you have your platinum card or gold card. So when you go to the bank, how does the bank treat you? As a platinum partners as well as the gold partners. So SRM provides that platform to differentiate. And SRM will also provide avenues for us to look at how a supplier, used to be a supplier, can be elevated into a partners.
They lie in the areas of operational. From an operational perspective, we have to be aligned with our suppliers. We have to perform. From a cultural perspective, we also have to be aligned. We have to share values, want to pursue the same opportunities. And then strategically, I think we want to both have the relation grow for the long term. Those would be the three things that I would mention.
The first thing that we talk about SRM is supplier relationship management. So when we talk about relationship, the first thing to look at is to differentiate suppliers and partners. When you elevate a supplier to a partners, one key important role is the trust. Because trust will differentiate between whether you are normal suppliers or partners. So when you have a trust as a partners, what you have to do now is actually to start sharing information. So information flow will be fluid between partners. And partnership is not only from procurement perspective, but partnership must be cut across the organization. The whole executive bench must recognize that this is our partners. It is not a normal suppliers. So again, as I said, the first thing that you have to do is to build the trust. And it's a two-way. You cannot have a one-way trust. Yeah.
I personally believe it's strategic. It's strategic from the standpoint of the three things I mentioned before, operational, cultural, and strategic. We have to behave strategically and put in place today those things that matter for tomorrow. Things like trust, how we deal with one another when there's problems, because problems will exist and occur. How we develop solutions to problems, it goes to trust and how we trust with one another, how we share information. I think that has to be strategic as opposed to reactive, and it's all about building relationships today that we can utilize and employ later.
It can be both, but the best thing is actually proactive. But again, before you come up with the list of potential partners, you have to look at their performance in the past. And how strategic is these suppliers to to your future moving on with your business strategy. So you feel that once you have these partners on board, then you will start moving on to the different partnership level.
It's all about saying what you mean, meaning what you say, and then following through with action. It's saying to a supplier you're going to do something and doing it. Over time, step by step, you'll build trust.
Well, it's a very difficult question. It's just like marriage. So when you have two parties come from a different, I would say, objective. For example, in Telecom Malaysia, when we talk about procurement, we want to create value. We want to elevate the competitive advantage across suppliers. Whereas from a supplier point of view, they're looking from a revenue point of view. I look from a revenue point of view as well. So when I talk to suppliers, it's not only cost reduction, but also how the suppliers can bring a competitive advantage compared to their peers in the market. So to me, at this point of time, it's very difficult to say there is a single strategy or yardstick to manage and track suppliers' performance. But in terms of trust, it takes time to build. So the issue is actually how long that the horizon that you want to build with the suppliers. Trust cannot be built in one night. Trust cannot be built in two months or two years. Trust is actually a long-term strategy. The issues that you have in place is actually, can the suppliers have the energy to work with us in the long term?
I would say strategic negotiations, kind of fact-based, cost-based negotiations can really drive supplier relations. If we know our cost structure, our supplier's cost structure, they bring forth good information. Developing relationships is an output of that type of dialogue and interaction. Another thing is benchmarking. When we know our customers and we share that information, not any proprietary information, of course, but just general information about the field of suppliers out there, we can grow select suppliers and their capabilities. Another would be profound commodity knowledge. When our buyers have good information and knowledge of a commodity, they visit suppliers, they know their processes. It helps build relationships and that we know each other's business.